We told you just last week that the Big Ten and that the SEC were about to bring the NCAA down. And what happened yesterday? Well, the first step in that process may have just taken place. Let's take a look at it and talk about what we have going on. The Big Ten and the SEC yesterday, according to multiple reports and multiple sources, formed an advisory group to tackle some of the challenges in college sports. Now, what are those challenges in college sports? We'll talk about that, but you guys know what's on the front page of every college football and college athletics article, newsstand, everything today. It's all NIL. It's all the transfer portal. It's all these college coaches leaving for jobs in the NFL and not necessarily loving the state of the game right now. The committee or the advisory group aims to address court decisions, state laws, and governance proposals. In layman's terms, they don't like the way that the NCAA is ruling right now. They don't like the way that it's not uniform. You've got different rules in different states. You've got the NCAA backdating rules. You've got a governance committee. You've got a organization that cannot rule, cannot govern, and the Big Ten and the SEC are tired of it. Most of college football is tired of it. The Big Ten and the SEC just have enough power and enough brand to do with that what they want. All the crap going on right now with penalties and self-reporting and lawsuits and all of this junk with NIL, with the NCAA trying to come back at teams later, all of that is too much. And the Big Ten and the SEC are tired of it. Their move reflects the power of these conferences. They're expanding to 18 and 16 teams respectively, shows that they are the majority of college football. And we believe, and if you've watched this channel, even though it's new, just a little bit, you are going to see more teams added to this Big Two, this Power Two that we're going to. And we believe this might be the first step in moving past the NCAA. Now, they said that that wasn't the goal, but we'll talk about that more in just a moment. The group could influence future athlete compensation, which right now the NCAA is facing some legal challenges to prevent that, which they've always wanted to prevent that. They don't like NIL. They've never wanted the players to get paid. They know that it's a step in the direction of them ultimately getting paid more and infringing on some of their revenue. That's why they never wanted players to be able to earn money. But the group could very much influence that and move us towards that direction in spite of the NCAA's objections. Issues like transfer rules, NIL, and scheduling issues are also very much on the table with this. All of the issues that you're seeing in college football because the NCAA refuses to take action or step up could end up getting some resolution, some relief. The Big Ten and the SEC's wealth positions them to set the new framework for college sports. And we see that in our society at times. It's not just athletics. It's not just college sports. It's not just football. The rich, the powerful, those with status, those with influence oftentimes shape the way that we do things, either directly or indirectly. And I don't mean to get into a philosophical debate on that, but that's just the truth. Think about the way that people vote based on where their favorite celebrities tell them to do it. Think about the way that people buy products based on the way that their favorite celebrities tell them to do it. The rich and powerful, those with influence, are usually the ones to shape the way that most things go. And that's the way it'll work here too. The Big Ten, the SEC, will be the ones to shape how this sport and really maybe all of college athletics looks in the very near future. The collaboration bypasses the NCAA, which is struggling right now with governance. There's a lot of change going on, and they are rapidly losing court cases. I cannot see a scenario over the next however long the NCAA exists, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that the NCAA wins any court cases. No one likes the NCAA because for so long they've said, no, you can't make money. In a free capitalist society, which we live in, you cannot tell people they can't make money. And so any court case that the NCAA brings or is brought up against the NCAA, they will lose. And so this group looks to supersede that. This group looks to get out ahead of that and just bypass the NCAA altogether. Do me a favor right now, if you're new to the channel, we cover a lot of the huge topics in college football. We cover some stuff on a team basis, but then also I like to have a little bit of a national perspective on stuff that doesn't deal directly with one specific team. We've done a lot on conference realignment and the NCAA as well. Hit the subscribe button for us if you like the content and you want to see more of it. Comment below with other things you'd like to see us cover. So what exactly are some of the more interesting things that this advisory group and this advisory board could tackle in the future? Well, I expect that players will eventually be considered employees. And I think there could even be collective bargaining that gets brought into things. This would establish salary caps. This would allow them to reestablish transfer window rules and put some guardrails on that. It wouldn't necessarily be the wild, wild west in either NIL or the transfer portal. I think that being an employee comes with certain benefits. I think it also comes with certain expectations. If you jump jobs every 6 months, the next job you get to, your fourth job, looks at your resume and says, can you explain this? And I think we'd get to that point in college football too. You can't just transfer every single semester. You need to stay committed at times. Now, I'm not saying it's bad that kids can transfer. I think it's a good thing. I think there should be some guardrails, some limitations on how often it can happen. What else could this do? It may end up sparking a partial withdrawal from the NCAA. Greg Sankey, the SEC's commissioner, denied that this would be the case, but this is probably coming in football at some point in the future. Everyone who covers this sport from a national perspective, guys way more qualified than I am, guys way smarter than me, who have been in this way longer than I have, all kind of agree they don't understand how football could stay under the NCAA umbrella forever. In fact, the NCAA doesn't even crown a champion in this sport. Either the NCAA is going to allow this Power 2 to make their own football rules, which the NCAA then enforces, or withdrawal will eventually come at some point. The Big 10 and the SEC are no longer going to let another entity, the NCAA, dictate the rules. They will dictate the rules and then say, sure, if you want to be the one to enforce our rules, that's fine. But they're going to be rules that we agree to. They're going to be rules that we set in motion. They're going to be rules that we set in place because we don't trust your leadership anymore. Collaboration fuels speculation of a breakaway league with true revenue sharing for the players. Might be a little extreme, but it's basically the same as the NFL, except with a 4-year window, and it's associated with colleges. It might be extreme. It may not be something that happens right away, but could you see that happening? Absolutely. College football playoff may also change. You may raise it from 12 teams to 16 teams. You may see auto bids from the playoff eliminated. You may see bye games or bye weeks eliminated. And what would that do? Well, I think you'd end up having more of the Power 2 with more losses get in over teams from the non-Power 2 that are just getting in because of an auto bid due to having harder strength of schedules, due to playing in one of the Big 2 conferences. You may love or you may hate that depending on who you cheer for, but I think that's the reality. I think that's what would end up happening. I don't think the Big 10 and the SEC love the idea of auto bids. The Big 10 and the SEC are going to get teams into the playoff, multiple teams every single year. It does not matter. You could have somehow a team that's 8-4 in the Big 10 win their Big 10 championship and be ranked in the 20s, and so they don't get in, but the Big 10 would still get several teams in, and they know that, and they're comfortable with that. They know that their best teams are going to go every year, even if they lose a fluky Big 10 championship game. But auto bids keep more Big 2 and Power 2 teams out. So I could see those certainly being eliminated. I think that would be one of the prerogatives of this new grouping, this new governing board. What are your thoughts? Where do you think this ends up going? What do you think happens here? Do you believe Commissioner Sankey? Do you think that the SEC and Big 10 aren't just trying to elbow out the NCAA? I don't believe that for a minute, but I'm open to hearing what you guys think about it. Do me a favor. This is a new channel. We appreciate those that have already jumped on. In just over 2 weeks, we've jumped up over 2,000 subscribers. the numbers are great. They don't really mean a ton to me. I just want a place to get off national level takes. So do me a favor. If you enjoy the content, give a thumbs up, give a subscribe. We appreciate you guys for being part of this. And I want to open up the discussion. What are your thoughts on this? We like to look at the NCAA as a whole. We like to look at conference realignment. Let me know what you think on what happened yesterday, where you think it ends up taking our sport, or any of my conjecture, or any of my hypotheses, or any of my speculations may be correct. Let's talk about it down in the comments. Thank you guys for being college football addicts like me and tuning in to College Football Addiction.